Tips du Jour mailbag question comes to us from Germany. Robert, I need to remove the bridge on my guitar. What is the best way to do this? Hans in Germany. Well, there are several ways to do it, Hans. My preferred method is to use my Bowie knife or my hatchet, especially if you're doing a retop. These tools work really well. No, really, I'm kidding. I don't use the Bowie knife and I don't use the hatchet. I use a product I got from LMI. I have a 1967 Gibson over on my bench and it needs the bridge removed. Let's go over and get it done. So Hans, here's the guitar on the bench. It's a 1967 Gibson J50. And the original bridge, this is no longer the original, would have had an adjustable saddle, had a couple of screws attaching the bridge on, a lot of heavy hardware in there, and some people say that was detrimental to the tone. Somebody has replaced it along the way, and so the owner wants to get back to a little bit more original, but without all the adjustable hardware in there. We're just going to put a Brazilian rosewood bridge on there. Also, the bridge patch on the inside of these guitars was plywood, and this one's pretty much shot, so it needs to be removed. Now, to remove that, what I'm going to use is a silicone heating blanket that I got from LMI, and for the inside, I have one that's going to heat up the bridge patch. To control the temperature as I work, I'm going to use the LMI temperature controller, and that will dial in the temperature I need to work with here. So let's get going. So here's my setup. I've got my bridge silicone heating blanket here, and I like to put a couple magnets on there to help hold it in place. I got one on the inside on that side, and one on the inside on this side. And the magnets on top help suck that blanket down. Here's my LMI temperature controller. I've got it set for 300 and it's slowly climbing up to the 300. Once it gets to 300, I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes, warm that bridge up, let it sink down in there and soften that glue a little bit. Then we can get the Bowie knife out and go to work. So Hans, what you don't want to do is get impatient when you're doing this. Take your time. Let the heat do its job. And it's always exciting when that thing comes off of there. There we go. So now that I've removed the bridge, I'm going to go inside with my heating blanket that I got from LMI, and I'm going to fix it up under there and turn it on, and that will heat the bridge patch, because we're going to pull the bridge patch out of this guitar as well. The original was plywood, and we're going to put in a nice maple one. And once again, I'm going to use my magnets just to hold that blanket up in there for me. Once again, I'm going to let my blanket heat up, and then I'm going to go to work. So Hans in Germany, thank you very much for your question. I hope you found this information useful. Now, one of the benefits of having a Bowie knife laying around is I find that if I'm sharpening this, when the boys come over to pick up my daughter for a date, it kind of puts the fear of God in them. Make sure they get home by curfew time. Either that or clean your pistol while they're coming over. Either one of those works fine. Happy building.